Hello, and welcome to our second session of Dreams and Machines. Last time was our session 0, as well as some play scenes. Dreams and Machines is the one of the newer games from Modifius, another version of their 2D20 system, which feels heavily inspired by Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'd also point to other post-apocalyptic games. Numenera, I would say, has that kind of, there's a little bit of strangeness there that is worth thinking about. Last time our characters were involved in a journey down the river. It did not go as well. And they were attacked by one of these machines and some thralls who are cultists who kind of follow the machines. And we're going to take up from there. I may have already said this, but my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Open Hearth Gaming Community. Just to remind you of our safety tools, we are using lines and veils. Right now we have hard lines on sexual assault, torture by the PCs, and tribal as a term. We have fails on dental horror, homophobia, sexual content, and torture, and ask first for anything involving epidemics or mind control. We're also using the X card, and we're also using our standard open door policy. So, where we kind of left off last time, you had dealt with these thralls. The boat had sunk. You were able to get to shore, though not necessarily in great shape. You have some time to catch your breath. When you have that kind of rest in this game, you can recover 2 spirit up to your maximum spirit. So if you're below your max, you can go up by 2 points at that point. Just to remind you, this is a game we roll 2d20 for tests. We're testing against an attribute, want to get underneath that attribute. And if we happen to roll below the skill that's associated with the task we're doing, we get an extra success. You can spend spirit before you roll 1 for 1 to get extra dice. You can spend spirit after you roll to re-roll a die. And then you can also, if you need to recover your spirit, if there's momentum in the pool, you can spend that momentum to recover your spirit kind of on the fly while you're doing actions. Those are some of the ways to manipulate dice and things like that. I'll talk about another system, that a small add-on in a little bit. But you're on the shoreline. You've dealt with the thralls, and there is this mechanical tortoise that seems to be at a stop on top of the rock. And it was my understanding that our people who have some tech efficiency, some tech skills, were going to try and scavenge what they could off of this tortoise. Does that seem like a correct statement?
I think so, yeah.
So in this case, who's kind of taking the lead on stripping the tortoise, and then who is helping?
I think I'm in a better position to help
Okay.
at the moment than to take lead.
Mm-hmm. Jet, are you
I think, yeah, I
okay?
think Chet's probably, uh, you know, push everybody else aside and no, let me take care of this.
So what you're going to be rolling is insight, and your skill is going to be operate for this. You'll roll 2d20, and DeVoe, because you're helping as an add-on, you'll roll 1d20 using that same set of skills. So Jet, let's have you roll.
Not good. Looks like 14 and 20.
Okay. Do you want to spend a spirit to re-roll one of those?
Absolutely, I
I
would
think
love
that
to do
14 still a success.
that. My insight is 11,
It's
so we're
11.
looking under, right?
Right, that's correct.
Under, but insight plus operate.
No, it's actually under insight. And then it's double success if you roll under the skill point. It's a
Oh.
little bit different from the other 2d20 systems. In the other 2d20 systems, you actually add those together. In this one, you don't.
Okay, got it. I may have made a mistake on that last session.
Oh, that's okay.
Oof, another 14. Dice
So,
not being nice.
so one success between the two of you there. Do you want something aggressive or defensive scavenged from this beast, do you think?
Oh, what are your thoughts, Devo?
Um, I mean, I think the clearest tool here is that cannon. And if we're not able to scrap that due to the damage that we dealt to this, it looks like there might be some easier to dislodge small arms.
Okay, then yeah, we'll go for the offensive option.
Okay. I think you will be able to, from the power set of things that are here, essentially pull together a set of stun grenades, essentially things that you can make shift. Let's say 6 of those that can be used. And let me find again the thing for how your spirit is calculated.
It's half your resolve plus your bonuses from your cards, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, my max spirit might have gone up. Because I think I sunk one into resolve for advancements. I'll recalculate.
Okay.
And you said from the short rest, we get 2?
You can get 2 spirit back.
Yeah, either way, my temp spirit, my current spirit would still be the same as what it is now, but my max might have gone up.
Okay.
Actually, Lowell, could you remind us? You said we had advancements at the end of the last session. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Let me pull up the thing. So you have, I gave you 3 points. And with those 3 points, you could, so I'm going to give you 3 points because I don't remember how much I said if I said 2 or 3, but I'm saying 3 now. That's because I said 3 seconds ago. You can increase your maximum spirit by 1 by spending a growth. You can increase your maximum supply points by 1 for that. You can increase your tech level by 1 for 2 points. You can increase a skill for 2 points. You can increase an attribute that is 9 or less for 2 points, or 10 or higher for 3. And then if you want a new talent, you count how many talents you already have, which I believe everybody is 1. Growth equal to the number of talents already. So it costs you 1 point to get a new talent right now.
And you said, did you say last time that if we spend all 3 on spirit, we would get 2 spirit points?
No, you could get up to you can get as much as you want there. I think you can spend all 3 on spirit if you want.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Can we bank them, or do we?
Yeah, you can hang on to growth as long as you want.
Okay.
Growth is what they call XP in here, which is an odd term for it. But
So if I put all 3 into spirit, then that would be 3 points in spirit, right?
exactly.
Okay, got it. Understood. I think I put 2 in, so I'll
Okay.
in my back pocket.
So Jahal, and let me take me a second to get the names. Corwin, while Jet and DeVoe are working on stripping this thing out, trying to get the power source, seeing what they can pull and carry. I mean, the problem is the cannon itself is probably too big to move. But they're getting at those things. What are you doing, Jahal?
I'm trying to-
I think go ahead. Go ahead.
You go
Listen.
ahead. Go ahead, Elliot.
I think Corwin is endeavoring to be as helpful as possible when it comes to just taking this thing apart. And he's probably the one who applies brute force to take this thing apart when it's needed. Not knowing specifically how these things work, but just yanking things off when he is called to do it.
Yeah. You have your utility bar, you're working that,
Yeah.
prizing things away so that they can clamber around on it. Jahal?
I think Jahal has so one thrall we know died and went down the river. I think Jahal is maybe pulling the other two thralls out of the water, and they're unconscious, I believe,
Right.
and attempting to maybe immobilize them with some kind of makeshift handcuffs or something, or I don't know, or some way to immobilize them in case they wake up, and in the process maybe trying to search their bodies for anything of value.
Absolutely. Let's have you make an it feels like insight and sneak, maybe.
Okay.
Well, securing them is not a problem. We'll say that is easy enough for you to do.
Yeah, he doesn't want them to wash away and drown.
Right.
One already died. Okay, so you said insight or the sneak, is that what you said?
Yeah, let's say insight sneak.
All right, so that's a 9 and a 3. And so I just rolled 2d20s. And let me just make sure. I haven't been paying attention to my talents. I just want to make sure.
Sure.
No, this doesn't have anything to do with my talents, I don't think. Well, the enemy's obviously not aware of me because they're unconscious, but anyways, we won't count that.
Fair enough.
All right, I'll just go for the 2 dice and see what
Okay.
happens, and then I could add dice theoretically later on with spirit, right? Okay. Okay, so that didn't work. I got an 11 and a 13.
So it is less that you do that you can't locate it. It's more that they don't have
Mhm.
anything on them. You'll find they've got basic stuff. It actually makes you think that they must have some kind of spot or encampment near here, because they're not carrying any kind of food or any of the kind of standard supply goods that you would expect them to have. It may well be close. They may have heard the sound of the boat's engine and kind of rushed down here to try and intercept. But they don't have anything else on them. You'll notice that you've probably seen thralls before, but they are strange in that they have kind of wire that they wrap around themselves as a kind of tattoo to represent their weird cult alliance with the builder. How do you think you secure them? Do you have rope on you? Do you take things off of them? How do you do that?
Oh, I guess I could use the wire. Why not use what I've got?
Okay.
Use the wire to secure their arms behind their back. Yeah.
So that was a little insult to injury in that they very carefully put this all together, and you use that to bind them.
Take what you've got.
Okay. So by the time that's done, you've got them secured. You've checked out the areas. DeVoe, Jet, and Corwin. Elliot, could you change your name in the thing, or else I'm going to completely miss it. Sorry. I'm so bad at that. You'll kind of come down off of that. You're all a little bit damp, but I mean, these stun grenades are both useful and valuable. And if you had, for example, spent any supply, you probably would have, off of the other various bits and things, bobs, you would have been able to pull some stuff to refresh your supply points. Now you might be asking, why is Lowell making a point of that? So how do you use supply? use supply if you want to have a particular item. But you can also use supply on the fly in a situation to declare that you have something useful, that you have, a screwdriver or something to give yourself fictional positioning, or to create a trait on the scene that makes your tasks easier. So that you have particular tools, that you have a flashlight, anything like that. You can do that. And it just costs a couple of points to establish that as a trait, and it reduces difficulty for that scene. And then later on, you can go and scavenge a place and get your supply back up to its maximum. Do bonds have a mechanical effect? So I think they do, but I'm going to tell you right now, the index in this book is off, and I have tried to find where it describes that mechanical effect. I will look again. I will check. I think it actually has something to do with growth and XP at the end, but we'll check on that. So I do think, Jahal, you've had a chance to look around while they've been doing that, and there is clearly a path back to wherever these guys came from. Certainly, this tortoise broke the brush coming this way.
So I think I communicate to my compatriots that what we discovered, that the Thralls have nothing on them and that their camp is probably nearby. But I don't know that Jahal necessarily advocates going to the camp, but we'll see how the others respond.
You bring this up like you think we should go there.
No, no.
Okay.
I'm not sure that we should go there.
I mean,
They did try to kill us.
we have a place that we were expected to go. Did anybody know if our navigators knew anyone there that might be looking for them, just so that we can check on their behalf?
I assume you would have gotten to know the people on, and the names of the crew. So when you get to the docks, you could certainly spread word of the ship going down. What was the name of the ship, DeVoe?
Ooh. Bountiful.
The Bountiful. Corwin, what's your take on this?
I think we should just keep going the way we're planning to go. No sense in deviating from what we'd planned to do. No sense in seeking out more trouble than we've already encountered. So if there's a vote, my vote would be to just keep going and get to safety as soon as we can.
Do we leave these two here?
How difficult would it be to bring them with us?
They are
They must have.
two crazed cultists who would probably try to harm you.
How far are we from the village that we are going to?
You are guessing that you've got a couple of days travel to reach New Mossgrove.
It's quite a distance to cover.
I don't think we can take them with us. Let's leave them here tied up. Their friends will come and get them sooner or later. I don't think they got a good look at us, right?
I'm fine leaving them here.
So Jahal, leaving them bound as they are.
Yeah.
Is your intent, let me ask you this, in terms of like tying them up to make sure that they won't get away without outside help, or is this the kind of thing that given a few hours, they'll be able to get themselves out of this eventually? What do you think is your take on that?
I think it's that they can't follow us if they come to consciousness. So to give us a good head start.
Okay.
So I think we tied them firmly, but it's not going to like kill them or anything. I mean, they're not going to starve to death on the beach or something. Eventually, they'll manage. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so you will gather things up and take off in the direction of New Mossgrove, heading north, kind of along the river. Eventually, you have to cut in a ways, and I think perhaps 30 minutes to an hour along, you will come across like a path that has clearly been knocked down maybe a couple of days ago. That I think Jet DeVoe, you can tell, having looked at the tortoise, that this is the path that it came along, heading sort of towards where it met up with you guys. So it seems to be you can parallel this path, you can run alongside it, you can try and break away from it. It's up to you.
Does anybody want to scout? Like if it, on the off chance that these cultists that attacked us had nobody else that they're traveling with, if that was the full band, they may have left supplies behind, they may have left something else of value, but I don't know that us marching straight through the woods is the best way to find that out.
I could scout ahead because you've got a point. I didn't want to meet up with more cultists, but if their camp is unguarded, that's another story.
Be careful.
Jahal, let's do quickness and sneak.
Okay, let's see. Quickness and sneak. And again, let me just check, see if I've got anything. I don't think I do. Oh,
You can always spend a spirit to give yourself an extra d20.
Okay. I will go ahead and roll the 2 and start there. Oh, I got a 1.
So that's 2 successes.
Okay.
So, like, is this more woodcraft sneak, or are you kind of staying on the open path and keeping low? Like, what is your like style of scouting look like?
I think it's a little bit more. He wouldn't go straight on the path. So somehow keeping within eyeshot of the path. Eyeshot, is that a word? He's following through the brush. In sight of the path. I think that's how you say it in English. In sight of the path, he is moving through the bush and trying to stay unnoticed in case other people or thralls are coming down.
Okay. You will come up and there is kind of a clearing that opens. And you stop because you can kind of smell the old smell of a campfire, but maybe a couple days old. Like this is clearly a place that they stopped at. And when you kind of peek out into there, you will see that there is a small vehicle on its side, a really basic sort of sledge transport with tracks. Picture a golf cart sized thing with a sledge hooked on the back of it that's on its side. And it has been pushed, because you can see the tracks, towards this weird thing in the middle of the clearing. It looks like there's a crack in the ground, and you can see that there is a smooth metal, shiny surfaced thing there. That's I mean, like the top of a big metal egg, for want of a better word, kind of sticking out of the ground. But you don't see any other thralls around.
All right, then I think Jahal will not go and investigate on his own. His mission was to scout, which means he'll come back and tell his compatriots what he's seen. That's what I saw, guys.
Do you think it's still usable? Does it need just some work? I mean, it needs to be stood up, of course.
We'd have to get a closer look. But I didn't want to go in by myself.
That makes sense. I mean, we're talking days journey, and we were on a vehicle. I feel more comfortable if we were on a vehicle again. I'm just putting it that way.
It can't hurt to go check this out. At the least, we might find more salvage.
So who takes point?
You know me.
But you've been there before.
Well, I think you know where it is, right?
I'll tell you which way to go. Yeah, sure, I can take point.
It's maybe a 15-20 minute walk up along this path, and you all will get to this clearing, and you'll see this area. It looks like maybe that tortoise thing was actually here originally off to the side, and that the thralls maybe kind of dug it out a bit. There's that looks like that. And it looks like they tried to get towards that egg thing in the center, but weren't able to. And it weirdly pushed the vehicle forward, and it doesn't look like they've gotten closer than a few feet to the edge of that crack that the egg is sitting inside of.
Is this anything that looks remotely familiar to me, my archivist background?
Let's have you make an insight study roll.
Okay. Is it 2 successes? Sorry, 3.
Great. I think that you will know that there were buried bunkers and storage things that had this kind of mirrored surface. And I think with the 3 successes, I think you'll realize that because the thralls had that wiring and sort of association with the builder, there might be a static field that was keeping them back from entering into that. Does that seem fair info for 3?
Yeah, I
I'll
think
give you
so.
I'll give you an additional question if you want to spend that momentum for that, or you can put it in the pool.
Yeah, the additional question that I have is, it's kind of like, you can call me out if it's too much to make it a 2-parter, which is, like, is this field a danger to us? And if so, do we have a way to dismantle it?
It is likely not a danger to you. You're not wrapped in wires.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I don't understand about these cultists is, if they had just taken the time to unwrap their wires, that I don't think this would have been a problem at all. I think we could walk right in. I mean, there might be other dangers, but we're not gonna knock a sledge over. I think if we're not seen as a direct threat, I don't think we'll be treated as such.
Their loss is our gain.
And then
Corwin,
there's
would
the
you like to do
silence
the
as
honors?
everyone kind of stands there waiting
Well,
for the others
sounds
to go
good.
first.
Corwin's gonna go ahead and try this out and step inside.
Okay. So you will walk forward. I think you will feel just a little bit of a tingle, like you do when there's a little bit of a charge in the air, and you'll feel yourself kind of pass through that line. And you can walk forward to this crevice in the ground. It's about maybe 8 feet long, maybe 4 feet wide, and there's this metal thing that is clearly kind of underneath it. And I just want to know, is everyone following up? Is anyone hanging back?
Yeah, there might be something to salvage in there, so we'll tag along.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow.
Yeah.
So Corwin, how do you think this thing opens? Like, is it a liquid metal thing when that you pass through? Is it that you put your hand on it and something opens? Is there an iris? What do you think that is here?
I was imagining it kind of, yeah, irising opening open to that there are, I think maybe invisible little kind of points of articulation that spin open as we approach it.
Yeah. And you kind of put your boot on this, you'll see that open up, and you'll see kind of a red glow, and it's very clear that there's a set of handrails for a ladder down that seems to go about 15 meters down, and then it's kind of dark at the bottom. It's a little narrow fit, but you could certainly climb down.
I think Corwin's going to turn back and look at DeVoe and say, is it safe down here as well? Can you tell?
I just kind of like peer down. I think if anything, I'm looking for glyphs that might be in place, even though they wouldn't impact us, but just to kind of see if there's precautions that whoever owned this spot had taken.
That's a really good point. I think that a quick glance around will show you that there really isn't anything in terms of extra markers for security on this.
Yeah, it looks safe.
Sounds good. Corwin will climb down the ladder.
Okay. Corwin, you start climbing down. Again, it is a little bit tight in here, but you will clamber down, and there comes a point when you're about 2 or 3 meters from the bottom that you will see light turn on below, and you can see that there's then like a pole with some bars that kind of climb down to get to the bottom. And I think you have to like kind of climb out from where it breaks into this larger chamber to get a look down. Let me ask this before I go too much further. Who is just above Corwin? Okay, DeVoe, you're climbing down second. Corwin, you will see that there is a larger rounded chamber. There's the kind of glow that comes around the base of this rounded room here. You will see that there are some crates, boxes. You recognize them. They're the kinds of things you would see. They look in remarkably good shape. That says to you that this place has been sealed up for a while. But I think the thing that strikes you is that sort of there's like an inset section in the floor of this with some lights, and you will see that there is a figure laying there in amongst the lights. Though right now it's more of a silhouette than anything. What do you do?
And this looks like it's a humanoid figure.
Yeah, yep.
Okay. And they say they look like they're in some sort of stasis or
They're not moving.
Yeah.
There seems to be like clearly in some kind of device, sort of halfway.
um well I think Corn's gonna assume they're probably dead if they're down here.
Okay.
And we'll see if he can search the body for anything valuable since we're trying to scavenge stuff.
So you clamber down to the bottom. DeVoe, you can kind of break through, from the ceiling. All of you and can start to climb down. Here, Corwin, you go over, and you will see that it is a person. They look like they're maybe in their teens, late teens. You can see that there's some like a jacket and some things set by them. Uh, and you can see that one of their arms is clearly mechanical. There's no skin on it. You can see the mechanics of it and so on. And you can see that they have not decayed. They're kind of laying there in this thing. And as you kind of step forward and approach, their eyes will come open.
Corwin, let's take a step back and sort of hold up a hand to the rest of the group to gesture them to come over and say to this person, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were dead. Or is this your egg?"
DeVoe, Jet, Jahal, what are you doing when you came down? What were you focused on this person, or were you searching the boxes, Jet?
I think I would be looking through the boxes.
Okay. God, there's some nice stuff here. Good basics, some rations, some battery things. Looks like a big stock of industrial strength glue there. I think you're kind of excited about the possibilities. Jahal, what about you?
I think Jahal's most interested in the person to make sure everything's safe. Because this person could wake up, obviously. We don't know who he is. So I think he's close to where Corwin is, watching this, and I think he also takes a step back and actually raises his hands a little bit.
Okay.
The guy's eyes open.
DeVoe?
Like in particular, I'm trying to see if there's, I'd say I'm interested in seeing something that I've never seen before, and that arm like draws most of my focus. Not that I'm going to take the arm from
Right.
this person, but like this is craftsmanship that I haven't seen anywhere before. I'm intrigued by it.
Sure. I'm going to have you make a roll in just a second. After I said this person will sit up. They will kind of push themselves up. They haven't said anything. They're kind of looking around, very disoriented. You'll see them look back at the stuff that's kind of piled by them, and they'll look back at the two of you, and then they say, I want you to picture the poshest accent you can. I'm not going to do it, but they say, and who are you?
We're just merchants who are traveling along the road near here, or the river actually near here. We were set upon by some cultists, and we came across your vessel here, thinking it was abandoned.
They'll kind of turn and look at you, Jahal, hoping maybe you have more information.
Um, I think Jahal looks at him. He's young, right? You said
Yeah, they're young.
they're young. And says, "How did you end up here by yourself?"
Father put me here? She says, they say, kind of questioning, like that's what they think. Maybe they're asking you.
What do you remember about your father?
I remember his name was Father. DeVoe, would you please make an insight plus study roll for me?
Sure thing. Uh, is it a matter of rolling under the study skill or at or under?
At or under?
Okay, so that's 2 successes.
Yes. I think as you're watching this person sit up and move and kind of get adjusted and is looking around for this stuff, you will realize that's not a prosthetic. You can kind of see around the edges of it. And I think you will realize that this isn't a real person. This is a machine.
Is your arm okay?
I think something happened to my arm. The skin is gone.
Do you know how long you've been down here?
My chronometer shut off. Are you friends of my father?
I'm not sure that we know him.
Do you know why I'm here?
Not yet. We don't know much about you. Do you remember where you were before coming into this vessel?
No, I should know that, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm very sorry. I should be able to answer your questions, but I can't.
No, I understand. It seems
And
like
they'll stand up and kind of start to pick their stuff up, the jacket and other clothing that's laying there in their bag, and are kind of just looking at you all.
were you given anywhere to go when you woke up, or were you just expecting to hear from your father?
I should have some kind of instructions, but I don't. There's nothing there where they should be.
And Lowell, as a question, does this person you mentioned like they had like a jacket? Do they have clothing that's covering up the arm to the point where like somebody wouldn't be able to see the robotics, or can they not really get themselves covered that well?
Uh, they'll put on the jacket, and when they do, the only thing that's showing is their hand. And they're kind of getting themselves together, still a little disoriented, uh, and trying to figure out what's going on.
Well, what we had mentioned, if you don't know where you're headed, we were trying to travel to the next village, and we have a fairly good sense of where it's at. We could bring you along with us, and maybe we'll find your father there. And I think like go through my gear and find like a pair of gloves. Just to offer, just to get something that's gonna cover up that metal hand.
Yes, if that is okay with you, and they'll look at you, Corwin, and Jahal. They clearly want to make sure that that's okay.
Of course, you can travel with us. What's your name? What do you call? Do you remember?
Sequent?
Sequent. Does this vessel, is it still functional?
I think it's a storehouse, not a vessel. Jet, while this conversation is going on and so on, what are you doing?
I think in the background you just see like some random pieces of debris just like take sailing arcs as Jet is digging through them and throwing them around. No, useless, worthless. But at some point he'll have to poke his head up and just a quick question, like this world was destroyed by living machines. Are cyborgs a thing that should cause concern or curiosity? Or is this totally uncharted territory and that's also kind of an answer we can.
I don't think you've ever heard of a machine that could pass for a human like this.
Fascinating. And so then I think then what happens is Jet will come up with, you know, some random piece of tech or gizmo, or even maybe even some of this like glue, and just go, oh, it'll take us forever to dig through all. That's a very interesting arm you have there. That, huh? Are what are you exactly?
I'm Sequent.
Are you a guard unit of some kind? I no, I think I heard some of that conversation. You don't know orders, don't have any, of course. Well, in any case, I suppose it's just lucky that the cultists didn't get you or any of this material, but
You seem upset.
you'll have to forgive me. I do not necessarily trust machines that talk. Are you a machine? Just like find something to like poke their face with.
Yeah, I think as you say, you know, are you machine? They say, I think I am. Don't poke me in the face.
I think Corwin says, Jet, if they clearly they're not a machine, they have prosthetic arm. If this is they're clearly confused. We just need to get them to the village.
Right. Right. Yeah, I suppose that's right. Well, I will look around since we lost our grain shipment. I'll see if maybe there is anything worth selling here, but I don't trust you. We'll just go back to looking through some of these boxes.
You will find Jet in here. Again, a big box of industrial glue that's pretty valuable, kind of useful, that kind of waterproof. super high grade adhesive. There's a set of binoculars here that is in really good shape. And there is a box full of, what do you think pre-collapse books look like, Jet? Are they paper? Are they plastic? Are they something else? Are they tablets? What do you think that is?
Pre-collapse, I think my gut is saying tablet. Or maybe actually thumb drives.
Okay.
Little like, about the size of a stick of gum, and they're books, and you would plug them into a tablet.
Yeah, you'll find there's a couple of tablet readers here, and just, several dozen little booklet tabs.
Oh, these maybe perhaps. Ah. Well, the books, I think we will definitely try and sequester those away.
Yeah, all this stuff is easy enough for you to carry, pretty high value for the weight of them. So seems decent. Jahal,
Yes, sir.
what are you up to? What during this whole kind of going around now, this conversation and Jet going through the goods and things?
I think Jahal's fascinated by Sequin, is that or
Sequent.
Sequent?
I have a picture of them in the NPC tab.
Oh, cool. Let me just quickly look at that. Cool. So I think Jahal has never seen anything like Sequin and is getting approaching as close as Sequin will allow, and trying to as they get dressed and put on clothing, just trying to understand something about them. So I don't know that I would need to do a roll or anything, but since we just agreed to like take them with us, maybe Jet doesn't like it, but that's what we've agreed to do. I guess maybe Jahal will say, is there anything here that you want to take with you when we leave to go to the village? Just trying to see what they value.
They have a backpack that they have, and they say, this is my backpack and it has my things in it, so that's what I need. You do have the sense that as she says that she might not even know what's in there. They might not even know what's in there. They kind of put it over their shoulder. Like they know it's their backpack. They know it's important to them, but they kind of hold on to that. I think the other thing you'll notice as you get kind of close is that they don't have a real sense of personal space. Like when you get close to them, they don't kind of react to that. The only thing that they do kind of react to is that when DeVoe hands them the gloves, you do see them put the glove on the skinless hand, like they're self-conscious about that. And it looks like you've gotten some good goods out of this place. The chamber doesn't seem to go any further than here. I assume you all climb back up to the top, taking whatever you can, stripping the lights, all of the good stuff, getting everything you can to get your supplies together, and clamber back up outside. And I think we'll take our first break here, and then we'll talk about what the next leg of the trip looks like. So take 10, and we'll be back.
Thanks.
So I think it's fairly quick work once you've gotten up top for you to tip that vehicle back onto its tracks. Which of you do you think has driven one of these things before? I assume a couple of you have, but who do you think feels like their character would be a driver? Jet, is this something you would have done, or is this more of a not something you would have learned on the boats?
It's a land vehicle, and so I think Jet hasn't driven one, but has seen them driven, and the controls look like something he could figure out really quickly if he needed to.
Okay.
And in that case, if we're specifically saying the river folk are not as familiar, I think it's reasonable to say that DeVoe, if I haven't operated one directly, I've definitely been on one before and have observed it being operated. You know, I think I could probably handle it. And something that my community had used in bringing documents from one place to another, but usually like shorter distances and not all terrain.
Yeah, so I think you can all get loaded up into this. It it has plenty of room if people are also sitting in the sort of the sledge that's at the back. Sequent kind of waits until you point to where they're supposed to be, and then they'll get on, and you all can start driving. So in this sort of driving montage here, we've got about 2 days journey. You've got this tracked golf cart that goes at about jogging speed, but constantly at a constant rate with that kind of all-terrain tracks. Tell me, Jet, what is the first like obstacle that your group hits heading northwards along this? What is it? Is it a physical thing? Is it a piece of weirdness? Is it a threat? Is it a particular piece of the landscape? Something else? What do you think that is?
Landscape jumps to mind immediately, like just a chasm, maybe a narrow bridge, but can we trust how much weight a natural land bridge that spans this rocky chasm can hold?
Yeah. And Corwin, what does the group do to get past this obstacle? Is it somebody checking it? Is it going over slowly? Is it finding another way across? Is it some sort of reinforcement? What do you think that is?
I think it's finding another way around this going kind of a shallower part of this ravine to go down and up again.
Okay. And what is that? Is it a landslide area? Is it a natural fording point? Is it fallen trees? What do you think that is that allows you to get past that?
Yeah, I was thinking a landslide of some kind.
Okay. Yeah. You have to go at that kind of a little bit steeper angle, but this thing has those kind of wide tracks, sci-fi vehicle style. You could go down, and then there's that going up, maybe a few pushes to get it up to the top, but it means you don't have to go across the precarious land bridge. Uh, Travel on. What is the next obstacle, threat, problem that you have to overcome in traveling? Visibility, weather, landscape, something else? What do you
Who's
think,
that
Corwin?
directed at?
Corwin.
I think I think we kind of spot signs of more of these cultists potentially kind of roaming around, and we need to try to avoid their notice.
So, DeVoe, what do you think you do I mean, you've got this fairly obvious vehicle. What is it that you take advantage of? What is the tactic that you use to avoid the scattered thrall patrols?
I think that a thing that we're familiar of these thralls doing, they've gotten very reliant on their machines.
Mm-hmm.
So often, like, their first steps for scouting will be to have some kind of tracking machine out there. So I just scrawl our ignore glyph, just kind of over our sledge, over our cart, so that we're invisible to machines detecting us, and rather than go at a jog, go at a slow pace, and count on that likely being enough, since the thralls are going to be mostly staying at their camps unless a machine sends a signal back to them.
They've got smaller crawler things that they perhaps use for hunting that your glyph will cause it to look away. I think the thing that you also find is that once you do that, that Sequent has a very hard time seeing the vehicle for a while. But then like begins to figure it out. And after a few problems with it, seems to figure out a workaround and finally sees it. They don't say anything. They seem embarrassed that they're having some kind of vision problem. But they will eventually adjust.
Yeah. Did we determine where Sequent was sitting on this? Are they sitting back in the sledge?
Did you put him in one of
shotgun?
the? I assume if, let's say it's a golf cart type thing, so it'd been 2 front seats and 2 rear facing seats, and then the sledge. So where would you have put them?
If there's no objections, I would have actually wanted them sitting next to me during the ride.
Okay, so you put them in shotgun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, like, when I detect that discomfort that they have with, like, not even being able to see what they're sitting on, I offer to hold their hand.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely want some assistance, but again, won't express that. DeVoe, what's the next? You're about halfway, kind of calculate the distance. You've gotten past these outskirts patrols of these thralls. Maybe a little bothersome because you wouldn't have expected there to be thralls this close to New Mossgrove. But we're about halfway. What's the next obstacle that you have to pass?
Yeah, I think there's a checkpoint of whatever guard force is responsible for making sure that thralls don't come into New Mossgrove, and that if traders are coming in, they're bringing wanted goods. Yeah, there's soldiers of some kind guarding.
Jahal, what do you think is the way that you get around this checkpoint, especially when you realize that this is not an official checkpoint, that these are some guys shaking down people for money?
So we've been to New Mossgrove before, right? So maybe we've encountered these guys before. Um, uh, and um, yeah, I'm actually drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. You
um,
said I mean, like do you think you've literally come across this particular gang of extortionists, or just that they're kind, or
Yeah, I think
or
what
what?
the sense is there are people like this, around most trade centers.
Mhm.
And so maybe we just push through and ignore them because they don't really have any authority.
Okay.
What are they going to do? Are they going to attack us? So I guess I whisper to Devo from behind. I'm in the back seat. It's like, just ignore these guys. Just keep going. There's nothing that they're going to do to us. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I say.
And I think it is a bit of bluff calling, DeVoe. If you just kind of, as you approach, you push down the accelerator and you just keep going, you ignore it.
Wave
I
and a
think,
smile.
yeah, I think Corwin certainly is well armed, and I think that you make it clear that this is not worth their while. You're not just traders, you're not just merchants, and you'll drive through. And there's that bit where they're trying to save face and just waving you along, even though you've already gone past, trying to say, go, 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 go. And Jahal, you're on that last evening of this transit. What is the last sort of obstacle? Is it something in the landscape? Is it the road? Is it that you're going to get there late at night? Like what do you think that is?
Um, so I think the weather conditions turn dark. I think it is night when we're coming and we're trying to get there, and we didn't quite make it before nightfall. So night has fallen, but at the same time, there's been a storm coming in, like an electrical storm, that's causing a lot of lightning and threatening to drop a bunch of rain on us. And I think it's like an uphill road to the town from here. It's on a bluff, maybe
Okay.
over the river.
Yeah. Jet, what does the group do to mean, do you camp out here, try to get to it in morning? Do you press in over the night? Is there something else that proves a solution to this problem?
No, I think when we see that we have an uphill climb and it's a treaded vehicle, it could do it. It could make the climb, but is it really worth it? And so I think, we've got enough supply. I think we stop the vehicle, camp out, even like hang the tents, hang a couple like tarps or tents like off the side and just do a little makeshift shanty camp. And I think it does start raining. So we get our stuff set up just in time. Because climbing up, it would have been miserable even if we succeeded. And it's just a lot easier to wait out the rainstorm, have a hot meal of rations and take to it in the morning.
And I think you probably, there's old locks that are built around here. So I think in the distance you can kind of see those on the river that go up this bluff, and maybe see a couple of vessels in those. The rain comes down hard, and there's lightning, and it's strange. It is the lightning is tinged slightly greenish, like you haven't seen that before. And there's a weird set of triples, like 3 strikes of lightning, it cascades into this massive thunder roll that kind of starts and gets louder and kind of rolls in and then diminishes. And that happens several times during the storm before finally, sometime after midnight, it stops, and then it gets hot. That kind of heat that you can only really get in a place like after a thunderstorm where it goes straight from thunderstorm to humid. And you can almost hear the sounds of the mosquitoes and things breeding and coming out. And we will cut forward to the next day as you hit the top of this summit, and you can see in the distance the road to New Mossgrove. They, picture a great wide 8-lane highway that had cracked and crumbled and that they've repaired in the center point. Here you're kind of riding down that. New Mossgrove is a decent sized port. It has several sort of terrace levels of settlement, and there is a larger hill. This used to be a waker, a massive machine that was kind of used as a signpost after it had gone dead. And over time, to make sure that it can never wake up, they've put more and more dirt and sandbags on it. So it's kind of like a mesa tower sort of looming over the town of this thing. And I think we established that all of you have been to New Mossgrove at least once. And as you are driving up, you can see that there are some swaths of the city that are burnt out. There's no smoke arising, but I think you can tell that in the last few weeks there has been some kind of clash or conflict here. And when you drive up to the walls of the city, there is a group of guards on the checkpoint there. Normally, there would just be essentially one of the city officials, somebody to kind of check you in, if you're a merchant, to check for goods and things like that. But you've actually got kind of a militia presence here like you haven't seen before. And one of them will stop you. You can see that it's not something you recognize, but they've got a kind of a purple dyed bandana kind of thing wrapped around their arm, and a couple others of the ones here on the guards also will have those, and they'll stop you and say, "Who are you? State your business." I think they look at DeVoe, who's in the driver's seat.
Oh, we've been traveling with the Bountiful, and we're attacked. This is the easiest way for us to make it to New Mossgrove. Has the crew come here? I think one of my friends saw them on the opposite shore, or they said so at least.
You have to check on the port if they're ship folk. We haven't had any ship survivors come through here. He'll ask you like the details of where you were attacked. They'll get that. They'll kind of check that out, and they say, "Did you see any large machines moving in the area?"
I tell them about the tortoise machine, but that's the only machine that I tell them about.
Is it coming this way?
Oh no, this was dismantled back where we were attacked. Okay, so I do tell them about like the scouting machines that we saw like a day or two ago.
We know the Thralls have been active in the area, but we had an incident.
Is that the burned out buildings?
That's yes. Well, head inside. The Wayward Tavern still has rooms. There are some other lodging places. If you need to trade, the Port Authority is still going. If you need help, just know that we're in charge. And he'll gesture to the purple bandana. If you see anyone wearing one of these, we are the Grove Wardens. And in the absence of other civil authority, we are in charge.
Well, thank you, Warden. I didn't catch your last name, your name.
Glossop.
Glossop. Thank you, Warden Glossop. Guess we'll make our way to the tavern then.
Okay. You was right. Jet, you've been here before.
Yeah.
What else is different that you see about New Mossgrove since the last time you were here?
I mean, other than the burned out things and the increased militia presence, those are the big ones.
Big thing, little thing?
I mean, I kind of just want to build off of the attack situation.
Sure.
And say that well, I think maybe there are just more like people in the streets, people who have been burned out of their homes, or actually, let's say this, if there are people who have lost their homes, then what we see from a higher up vantage point is we see makeshift caravans leaving through the northern gate, people or headed to the river to load up. Maybe the docks are full, people trying to buy passage out of town.
Yeah, it looks like whatever has happened is not like a single thing. Like you'll see there are clearly some ruins and things that happened in the last couple weeks, but then there's some other areas where something happened and there clearly been some cleanup. There's clearly been some reconstruction. And you definitely has the vibe in the streets that bad things have happened and there's some people deciding to get out of town now. Corwin, who do you know in town?
There's the person that we usually sell our goods to, who is kind of a kind of a broker dealer for various trade goods, and we usually meet at the tavern. He kind of does business out of the back there usually.
Yeah. What's their name? Give me a name for that person. So we'll establish them as an NPC here.
Yeah. Wilhelm.
Wilhelm. And Jahal, what's another thing that you see that strikes you as unusual here in New Mossgrove, different than you've seen before? People or a thing or some visual? What do you think?
So I think we probably got out of the vehicle at some point and we're walking through some streets to get to the tavern. And I think what Jahal notices is some more of those wardens, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Talking to people, and he just notices that the people in the street have expressions on their face when they look at the wardens that aren't warm and friendly, but more kind of frightened of them as well. And when the wardens look at them, they duck and they try to get out of sight. So he has a sense that the wardens aren't, even though they're keeping the peace, they aren't universally popular in New Mossgrove.
Yeah. I mean, there was always a little bit of tension with the militia, especially as they, work for the people who assess the taxes and things, but this definitely feels more hostile, more dangerous. When you get close to this tavern where you meet to negotiate DeVoe, you will see some other people walking around a little bit like the wardens, kind of like they're also a group. What marks them out? What's their you'll hear somebody refer to them as the preservationists. What is their thing? If the other ones have these purple bandanas or scarves tied around their arms, how are these preservationists marked out?
It's not actually like a sigil or an armband or anything related to their clothing. It's that they all have these satchels that are bursting with pamphlets. And sometimes like a gust of wind will catch them and pamphlets go scattering through the air on. I guess we haven't established, you know, our post-collapse equivalent of paper, but
Yeah, thin paper that breaks down over time. I think you'll catch one of these pamphlets from the preservationists, and it says, "Beware of machines." It says technology is a tool and should only be a tool. Only that which we can repair with our own two hands is to be allowed to destroy all other technology, or we will face our doomsday again. And it has some horribly badly drawn pictures, cartoons there. And the four of you plus Sequent will arrive at this tavern there. It's noisy. There are fewer people here than you would have expected. There are fewer merchants in here. There are some locals. There's people, a lot more people kind of conspiratorially around tables, talking with one another. Maybe get that hush when you come in of strangers. And you will make your way in. I do think, Jahal, as you are as you take a look back as you are coming in, you will see that Sequent does have one of these pamphlets, and has read through it, and then has very carefully folded it up and put it in their pocket, and looks a lot more uncomfortable than they did before. And you'll hear shouting from the back of the tavern, this scream that comes from Wilhelm of your name, Corwin, will be shouted out across here. I think everyone turns and looks at you and looks at him, and he's got over here, Corwin, can you hear me, Corwin?
And Corwin will wave back to him and kind of wave the rest of the group over. And I think he and Wilhelm have kind of like a handshake where they kind of grab each other by the elbow, kind of slap each other on the back. And Corwin will tell him, relate to him what happened to their cargo, unfortunately.
Oh, and you can tell that Corwin has no indoor voice. It's all loud. It's all 110%. I'm not going to do that because I'll blow out the speakers. But I put a picture of him on the NPC tab as well there on B77. And he's like, "Oh my God. Oh, by the maker." I know the Bountiful. I know the captain. And none of them have come through. Perhaps they went elsewhere, to somewhere closer if they were on that side of the river. But they have not made it. It's too bad. They had a amazing ship.
Yeah, alas, we didn't see anyone else make it off the wreck. It was a sudden and fairly brutal attack that we were subjected to.
That is a pity. That is a pity. And was it Jet Sudal? You are a fellow river from the boats?
Yes. I'm from a flotilla.
Oh, one of the larger. Oh, oh, good. Well, they're lucky. You two, you know the water, so you were able to help out and get everyone to survive.
Uh, well, the captain and the crew, we're not sure about them.
Oh, I met you. Not present company excluded. Of course. You all must be thirsty. You do have goods to trade, right, Corwin?
We
Yes, we have goods. We found.
Yes, yeah.
We were able to.
He'll then gesture to buy around once he knows that you actually have goods to trade. And he'll have that brought over for all of you. And was it Jahal?
Jahal peeks out over Corwin's shoulder and says, "Yeah,
Yes, where are you from?
oh, originally from far east of here,
Okay.
small village, but I've been in this area for quite some time, a year now,
Oh,
trading here and there."
You're a veteran of the land. You know how these things are. Yes, just come and sit, have a drink, and I'll kind of look at DeVoe, and you are.
Oh, I'm DeVoe. I'm from Alexandria, the archivist community.
Archivist community. You've come here to speak with the archivists at Deepwoods.
Was that a spit to the side?
Yes, that was.
Okay. And if they're willing to trade knowledge.
I'm sure that's all they care about.
And this is my cousin, Sequent.
Hello, Sequin. Good to meet you. I know that they have very big families in Alexandria. That is what I've heard.
It can be difficult being one of the later born.
I'm old, so I don't know these things. But anyway, and he will chat for a bit, and then he'll kind of start to talk trade, to see what you have to offer. And you can do the haggling or buying. If there's anything you want, we can do that. And then he'll kind of companionably settle into kind of asking what it is that you five intend to do now that you are here in New Mossgrove. Are you freebooters, or do you have a purpose?
We're always looking for good salvage.
There may be. Yes.
Any ruins that other explorers have either not been brave enough or have been not stupid enough to go exploring and digging around in.
Interesting. Corwin?
Yeah, if nothing else turns up, we might look for another ship to sign on with. They can often use extra hands on board.
And Master Jahal from the east? What is it that you intend to do?
I'm looking for someone who I lost track of. And I'm hoping to gather information here in the city before I go with my friends to do some salvaging, which I'm always up for.
Well, I would tell you, things are difficult here. You may find the city less welcoming than it once was. A few weeks ago, we had a thrall attack, a raid, and they came in the night. They killed a number of people, including some of the city elders. And after that, a group you probably saw them at the gates. The wardens formed and sort of set themselves up as the authority. And let us say that has had mixed results, but it got worse when about a week ago we had a big attack by machines, some large ones that came through out of nowhere. And there was fighting in the streets. You probably saw a number of the blocks that were burnt, and the machines dug, trying to wake the great machine at the hill. They were fought back against, and by the combined work of the wardens and others, they were able to drive them off. But some of those who fought the machines formed their own gang. The preservationists, you may have seen them outside. They have a printing press. It's very annoying. And they, let us say that the town is split now.
Are you
But
split right down the middle?
let us say a third the wardens, a third the preservationists, and a third people who would just like it to be like it was before. That's my group, I will say.
So you're a fence rider for the time being.
Yes, most of the fences got knocked down, but I would like to be sitting on one of them when they are finally erected again. And your friends, the archivists, are somewhat on the outs. There are still some archivists here. There is a file building that's still intact, but when New Mossgrove reached out to Deep Woods for help, when the machine attack came, they turned their back on us.
I'd like to be able to speak in defense of my people, but I can't say that I'm all that surprised.
No, I don't think any of us are.
Well, I will tell you, if you wish to speak to the archivist from Deep Woods who is here, her name is Winters, and she's at the file building. If you are looking to find someone or something, there is a finder, a hound by the name of Despotier. He's the best man to help you track. And if you're looking for ruins, Fiona Mowry, she's the one who knows what's going on with expeditions around in the area. What else can I tell you? What else can I help you with, Corwin?
Thank you, Wilhelm. I think maybe my companions and I will need to confer amongst ourselves for a bit to decide what our next course of action is. But if we have need of further assistance or have a profitable deal we would like to cut you in on, we'll certainly let you know.
Let me give you the name of a lodging house, private, that you all can stay in without anyone else. Person I know, clean, accessible baths, all of that. That if you go and spend your money there, it will be, I would consider, a personal favor. And he will quickly write down an address for you. And he says, well, I will go and check my inventory, and tomorrow we'll talk about some trades.
Certainly.
Okay. And he will head off and leave you 5 to the table.
Well, perhaps we should consult with this finder to see if we can locate Sequence father. they Sequin, would you be able to describe your father? Do you have any recollection of what he looks like?
I think I have a photostat, and they'll dig into their bag and hunt around, and they will pull out what looks to be a photograph. And I think as they hand it to you, I think the photograph is very old-timey. Like like picture of someone's handed you a picture from the 1890s and said, I think this is my dad.
And when you say that, Lowell, you mean like dressing in a manner befitting the 1890s?
Exactly. Like
Okay.
this is
Sepia
clearly
toned.
a couple centuries old.
And how recent was the collapse?
A couple of centuries. Do you think this finder can help?
Maybe fossil records. But
Jahal elbows Jet.
I mean, I can look for him myself. If I know you all have business, I can help with whatever you have to do. I can earn my keep.
I don't know how wise it is to wander off on your own. I think that as much as we can, we should all try to stick together. It seems like uh, the people of New Mossgrove, are more divided than they may have been the last time that any of us were here, and we don't want ill will to befall you.
Yes, don't worry, Sequin. We'll find your father, and yeah, don't worry about earning your keep. You're welcome to stay with us as long as you need to until we find your father.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. It, they'll look down at the drink and they'll say, does somebody want this?
I'll drink that.
Pushes it over to you.
Do you need to consume anything?
I don't think so. There's energy in the air.
Let us know if you feel hunger or thirst or anything like that, but we'll try just to politely decline on your behalf until that happens.
Yeah, I don't. And they'll stop. Like they're trying to process something.
And Jahal kind of leans forward and looks at them and says, they're probably powered by kinetic batteries. They don't need anything. They'll be good. You'll be good, right, Sequin?
Yes, yes, yes. I can be good.
But it's probably not the best place. So the sooner we get out of Mossgrove and on to the next thing, probably the better. Wouldn't you say? And that's I'm addressing that to the rest of the group.
I do feel less at ease here than I thought that I was going to when we decided this is a good destination.
we're really just here to offload cargo and get a next job, but
Well, looks like Wilhelm will help us offload the cargo.
well, that was when we had cargo to offload. We did get a bit of salvage, but I don't know if that's going to get us as far as the grain would have gotten, but we'll see.
And
We might be able to haggle something.
Jet, you found data cards of some kind.
Books. But here's the funny thing about them. Those books, those were pre-collapse technology. Now let's assume everything was all in the same building, all from the same time frame. That means that this thing here points to sequence pre-collapse. How do you know it's
Don't
not?
say
How do you
don't-
know they're not going to suddenly just like wake up and suddenly decide just to go?
Well, we don't know that, but that's. I think that the better first step is to find out what we can. Did anybody attempt to read any of these books while I was driving? You did have a couple of days.
I can't read while driving. It makes me sick. But Jet looked like he was looking through some stuff.
Yeah, there's the tablet readers too. I mean, if we're talking a couple centuries old tech, trying to wire something up. Well, I do have my toolkit. I don't know how hard it would have been.
Jet, do you want to roll to get one of these readers working?
Sure, let's go.
Okay, I think this is difficulty 1.
They can insight operate.
I think so.
Awesome. Insight operate. We're good at that. Although it didn't go so well last time. That is 2 successes.
2 successes. So you will absolutely get I think if you want to spend the extra momentum, you can actually get both these tablets working just fine.
Sure, we've got enough momentum in the pool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and
Do
spend the
that. Okay. So let me ask you this. Half of these are excruciatingly long speculative fiction books, like essentially the equivalent of Everon Wheel of Time collections and stuff. What's the other half? You get to decide with that roll.
Ooh, what Jet would have been hoping for would have been like technical readouts, like blueprints and, useful things, which means they're absolutely not that.
Okay.
So if the first bit's speculative fiction, I think cookbooks,
Okay.
recipes.
Yeah. Wild, ranging from very, very classical to molecular gastronomy, to baking guides and things like that. There's some useful food tech here, but it is definitely not entirely what you had hoped for.
Yeah, we'll relay all of this. It's just a bunch of junk literature and a bunch of things on how to cook foods from centuries ago. Now, maybe the archivists might want something to do with that, but
Any of the fiction sound interesting?
I got through a chapter of one of them. I would really like the main character.
But what ideas is it exploring?
Oh, there was one. It had I think there was a really short person and he had hairy feet, and uh it was about some kind of jewelry, and I don't really know much else about it. I didn't get that far into it. It seemed very long.
That sounds completely useless.
I'm not sure what the hairy feet had to do with anything.
Let's take our
Oh.
second break here let's take 5. And then when I come back, we'll assume you get settled into a place to stay, into lodgings. And I want to do a kind of a once around to let each of you call a scene where you want to go, NPCs you want to talk to, or PCs, so on. So let's take 5 and then we'll come back. So, DeVoe, you have some purpose, you have some goals here, you have some things you want in New Mossgrove. So I want to give you a chance to call a scene. We'll assume it's the next day after you all have had a chance to crash and settle and relax. What scene do you want to call? NPC, PC, something else? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that DeVoe does want to check in on Winters. Haven't been given her as a reference. I think there's a lot of caution that DeVoe has in going to this arranging this meeting. Because like he knows it at some level, like information about Sequent doesn't really feel safe to share. Like Sequent feels particularly important. I think an element of it to DeVoe is some is actually the guilt of having killed somebody.
Okay.
And Sequent now is like somebody to protect, where had that not happened, there's a good chance that DeVoe would have been treating Sequent as a valuable technology to protect and take back to his community, and little more than that. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm in a state of not really knowing who I can trust.
So the archivist factions, when they have representatives, have places, they have exchange files in towns in major locations like this. And there is a new Mossgrove files. What do you think those look like? Are they pretty secure? Are they pretty loose? Is it more like a library? Is it more like information exchange? What do you think that looks like?
What I picture is it's a depending on how large of an archivist community there is in any given place, it's always effectively a research and study library. Like really, nothing is supposed to leave
Mm-hmm.
the building, and I think that like we've gone back to the days of wearing gloves to look at texts.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of ritual to it. You know, like, you know, you come and you say what it is that you're trying to research, and this person just knows exactly what to refer you over to and closely watches you while you study it.
They're the most snooty university librarian watching over you. They have some physical books, they have some physical text, they have maps. That's a common thing that people want in this era. They've also got kind of e-reader tables where they can send over to that the thing that you want. And this archivist Winters will greet you and kind of recognizes that you have a little bit of the look of an archivist community. I think there's some things about you, and we'll say, brother, where are you from?
I've come a long way from Alexandria, in fact.
That is a substantial community there. Not quite as large as Deepwoods, but
I mean, what is as large as Deepwoods?
there are some others.
It's
But yes, I do
it's
admit
named
to
such for a reason.
yes. So how is it that I can be of assistance to you?
I've been curious about what is known of technology before the fall.
That is our purpose. That is our goal, certainly. What, is this a research question you have been set to? Is this some sort of graduation test?
Thesis work.
Ah.
So trying to expand the knowledge of my own community, and if there were advances being explored in the development of machines that might not require as active a hand for control. I know there are things forbidden, but and I'm not looking clearly to develop a thinking machine of its own.
Well, obviously not.
But curiosity about what foibles our predecessors may have experienced, what they might have been trying to discover, and what moral quandaries that let them down.
The moral quandary is that they created an artificial intelligence that went mad, and it caused the breakdown of all other machines present in the system. I mean, that is the basics of it. Is there something particular you are looking for? I mean, we are a small archive, but if there's a particular topic or machine you're studying or something of that sort, I can help you or at least direct you to where you need to go.
I'm curious if there's any known locations where any of that research may have been underway that haven't been scoured at this point.
Okay. Let me have you make a roll
I have
here.
just said the wrong thing.
What do you want to roll this with here? It feels like talk.
Yeah, I think it's insight talk. Like
Okay.
I'm trying to,
Yeah.
I'm trying to leverage common interest in this. I might want to spend a spirit.
Okay. I'm going to spin a spirit and reroll one of
Yeah.
those.
I'll reroll the E18, I suppose.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there we go.
That is success.
Yeah.
So she will stop and she will say, it might be better served for you to go to Deep Woods itself to investigate these things. There is some pushback on those who look into these things here.
I've noticed.
There is a rumor. I do not know how true it is or what is involved with it, but I will tell you this so you have this in mind as you are talking and asking about this. There are some people that say that someone found a ruin nearby and started to explore it and brought some things back. And that something they brought back accidentally or deliberately summoned those machines that attacked us a week ago.
There's a lot of danger in trying to bring something into the community that we don't fully understand yet.
Exactly. And people are very nervous about that. Certainly, certainly, I know that our community at Deep Woods deliberately didn't help because they had picked up some strange readings in the area. And they were worried about what was going to happen. That's what I can tell you. I can also tell you that if you pursue this in town, you may end up crossing paths with a man named Dr. Arcuri. Stay away from him. He's dangerous.
Is there anyone in Deepwood that I should be staying closer to? Do you have any?
If you go
colleagues?
to Deepwood, speak to Timaeus. He will help you.
Thank you, Winters.
Jahal, who would you like to talk to? What do you want to do? What scene do you want to call?
kind of wanted to have a scene with Devo, but since Devo just went, maybe come swing back to me so other
Sure.
people can speak. Yeah, yeah.
That seems reasonable. Corwin, what about you?
Remind me, so the three people that Wilhelm, there were three, right? That
Right. Mentioned Winters from the Archivists, kind of for DeVoe. Mentioned Fiona Mowry as the person who knows about the ruins. And then mentioned Despotier as the sort of the finder huntsman type.
I think Corwin's plan initially was to go talk to Despotier to see about tracking down information about Sequin's father, but I think Corwin wouldn't necessarily do that without the rest of the group's okay, and it seemed like others were maybe a bit reluctant about drawing more attention to this this unusual circumstance.
Do you think that Corwin is Corwin like put two and two together that the father is from a couple centuries ago? Is Corwin not picked up on that? What's your read on that?
I mean, I think Corwin was initially fairly insistent that this was a real person who was just confused, and I think has picked up on the fact that that's not the case, but has decided to not think about that too much more.
Okay.
And it simply act as if he was correct that this is a person who needs to find their father.
Okay. So you do want to go to Despotier?
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's do that.
I think that he is one of those people that kind of drifts around, but eventually you will track him down. He is we'll say seated in the equivalent of a barber shop there, playing cards, and when you come in, he definitely looks and notes the outfit. You seem a little more together. I mean, you're a guardian, and he'll kind of see that someone will kind of point at him when you ask, and he'll fold his cards and kind of stand up and say, "Are you looking for me? I am Despotier."
Nice to meet you, Despotier.
The pleasure is mine.
My friend Wilhelm said that
Wilhelm, he is very loud.
He is, yeah, he is. He's quite knows how to fill a room.
That he does. One has to admire that in some ways. What is your name?
I'm Corwin. I've been through here a few times.
And yet our paths have not met before. That is a pity.
It is. It's it's fortunate that we're able to remedy that now. But well, I'll get straight to business. You seem like a person of business. You know, we were on our way here, and we came across a youth who had been separated from their father, and we Wilhelm said that you're the kind of person who knows a lot of people, finds things. So if you come across a father who's looking for their child, let us know so we can possibly reunite these two.
Perhaps if you gave me more details, that would assist me in doing this. How old is the child?
They seem they seem like maybe a teenager, about 16 or so, but they've
and their name?
They go by Sequin.
Unusual name.
Well, it's they're not from around here.
Are they archivists? Kind of makes a face.
I mean, it seems like they've suffered, you know, perhaps some trauma of some kind. They seem to be quite confused, and don't recall many details about, you know, where they came from. So I don't think I don't necessarily think they're archivists from the archivists, but you know, I've not they speak with a kind of a tone of voice or an accent that I can't quite place.
Hmm.
So I think they're from quite a ways off.
Do they have like a one half of a locket that could be joined to another half? That those kinds of things make it much easier.
You know, I'll ask, but I didn't notice anything of that sort.
Perhaps I could talk to them. They may remember some detail I could elicit that might help in tracking them down.
Yeah, certainly I'll you know, they're with the rest of our party at the moment, but um you know, I just wanted to put the word out. I thought if the father might have come through and is probably remembers more, I would assume is unlikely to have suffered a similar kind of amnesia. So
Wait. Let me. Are you doing this out of the goodness of your heart?
um well, I mean, I assume the father, you know, would probably might be willing to pay a finder's fee for
Good.
assisting their
Pure
child.
altruism. I'm allergic to that. So yes, I'm glad to hear that. Well, yes. Tell me where you're staying, and perhaps the next day or two I'll come by and I can do a quick interview with this teen,
Oh,
and
certainly.
uh, we can you and I can come to an arrangement as to the division of finder's fees, kind of thing.
Oh, of course. And I'll give him the address of the wherever it is that where's the lodging. Yeah.
Okay. And he will say, what is that? Is that your primary business here in town? What else are you involved in?
Um, well, you know, we were transporting some grains and other trade goods on the Bountiful, but I don't know if you've heard this, but we were attacked um by cultists with a machine which sank the ship. So we're really looking for
No, I
kind of
know
our
the
next job, our
I
next score.
knew the captain. He says, well, if you're looking for work, I will say, uh, there there is money to be had on both sides of this fence. Both the wardens and the preservationists are looking for people to assist them, and certainly a person with a skilled arm and some talents could make good coin that way.
Yeah, between you and me, which side seems to have more coin?
It is hard to say. Before, I would have said the wardens, but they really got knocked back on their heels.
Mm.
And the preservationists have Master Quint, and he's a merchant with a good deal of coin. So if you're just looking for money and don't care about ethics, either way, I mean, either side, you can pick one or the other.
I mean, you say that as if there's perhaps something unethical about one of these.
This is, uh, uh, this is, uh, uh, you're a traveler, you're a passer through, so you're the kind of sellsword who could throw in with one of these two. I have to live here, so I don't get on either side, but I always like to tell people where the money is at. I suspect that both sides are equally murky and standing up to their knees in shit. So that's my thought on the things.
Oh, understood. Well, I'm familiar with this sort. Well, thank you for the guidance.
Ah, you're more than welcome. Yes, I will swing by probably tomorrow to chat with this sequent.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent. Jet, what are you up to? Who do you want to talk to? What do you want to do here in town?
Well, I have this short-term goal, pay off an unfortunate debt. And when we first started, I said I was coming to New Mossgrove to look for work to be able to pay off that debt, assuming it would be somebody else in another city.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if,
You
just
want to
given the time that we're
establish?
playing,
Yeah.
if we want to set like a Jabba the Hutt type character here, and we were bringing the grain back, and that might have been what paid off that debt.
Then let's make that so we tie things together. That is Truth Quint, who is
I was also thinking
I
Truth.
say I know
He looks dead on. Like,
yes, he is our preservationist leader. And like, how did you get this particular debt? What happened?
oh man, when I first left the flotilla, like didn't know up from down, left from right, and he did the whole smarmy, come with me, kid. I'll teach you the ropes. I'll take care of you. I'll even give you a little starter money, a little starter loan, help get you on your feet. And Jet, wide-eyed and naive about, oh wow, people outside the flotilla are so nice. They're he's putting me up in this room. He's getting me food. Wow, they treat people so well. And then all of a sudden it became, you know, hey, since I'm being so kind, you should go out and do this. Hey, I spent a lot of money to put you up, uh, you know, and so now we owe him a lot. I don't know what a lot of money is in this world, but
That kind of coin that is hard to come by.
yeah.
So, do you think that the scene that you want is you go to see Quint, or is it that someone grabs you to take you to see Quint, or is it that you're going to somebody to try and find some cash?
Well, we did have some salvage,
Yeah.
not exactly the grain that we wanted from the bountiful, but I could be in the process of selling off like the tablets, the stun grenades, and those things that we got from the tortoise and the holdfast, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, maybe Quint or one of his preservationist goons does come by and grabs him.
Let's do the haggling first. Let's see how well you do on this.
Sure.
That's probably insight and talk.
Insight and talk. All right. Now I do have, haggler. I have just what they need. I don't know if that would affect the roles necessarily, or do
So
we want to do this more
we're
narratively?
going to do this more narratively. Basically, I'm going
Got
to take
it.
it down to difficulty 1 because you've got those talents to see like what kind of margin you can get with that.
Sure, absolutely. I like that idea a lot better too than playing around with numbers. That's 3 successes.
So you find, and let's say it's that glue, like you take that down to the waterfront, and this is the kind of thing that they desperately need to patch ships. It's bond tight, it's waterproof, it sets quickly, and I think you'll make a good chunk of money, maybe narratively half of what you owe Quint when the big meaty paw comes down on your shoulder and says, "Ah, Jet, Mr. Quint would like to have a word," and steers you through town.
And Jet just utters this like under the breath string of river curses just the whole way.
Uh, Quint has a lovely place. with the most hideous murals painted on every surface. Every room has been decorated. He's hired artists to draw and paint with the most vibrant colors. He's gotten like gold flake and silver. He likes everything kind of illuminated. It makes it very hard to kind of look. But he will greet you and he will say, if it isn't the prodigal jet.
Hey, Quint, you have eyes everywhere in the city. I knew that. I was just on my way to see you, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it. You have always been a good and trustworthy scion of my operation.
Yes, well, thank you. I strive to uh, uh, succeed in excellence in all things.
So I had word that you were bringing grain, a good supply that would help pay off your debt.
Well, yes, we were. Funny thing happened. We were attacked by cultists. I know sounds strange, but I also heard sounds like New Mossgrove also suffering these attacks. They come from nowhere, and uh, we lost the grain and the ship.
There were some candies with the grain. Are those also gone?
Candies, like for children.
Yes, let's say for children.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply. I'm sure it was going to be a generous donation for the children of New Mossgrove. Yes, those are gone as well.
That
Bottom of
is
the water.
really too bad. And it's really too bad. So what do you have for me, Jet Sudal?
Well, when we were attacked, there was a turtle thing, and we fought it, and I was able to pull. I was able to pull some explosives, some rounds. I think they can be used as stun grenades. And then also we found this strange building. It had a bunch of boxes in it and a bunch of like really old tech. And I'll bet you the location could be probably worth a lot of money. But we did bring most of the stuff that probably is worth anything out with us. Really cool industrial glue, the kind of stuff that really could hold ships like the Bountiful together, so you know you don't lose more of this grain and candies to the bottom of the ocean. I think it might be worth a lot of money.
And I assume that's what you were engaged with down at the docks, was trading this on so as to get me the coin that I require?
Oh yes, absolutely.
And how much of the coin that is on your ledger have you accumulated?
We give him the number and it is half.
Oof. I was really hoping to be able to just wipe your debt clean, but looks like we're still on the hook here.
If you just give me a little more time, I think that we've got some good work lined up, and New Mossgrove is rich with opportunity. That's what you always said.
I always say that. What if I were to also say that there is a task that I need done that, were you skilled and willing enough to do it, I would be willing.
I'm in. Go ahead. Yes. Let's go. Let's do this.
Excellent. Well, I need something taken from the house of a man named Wycliffe Quarles. He is the head of the wardens in town, and I need something put in its place.
All right. Uh,
Simple infiltration, theft, leaving a package behind. No problem. No muss, no fuss.
right, simple theft. Jet, I'm your guy. That's what I do. They call me the Fox back on the flotilla. I'm
A lot of foxes on the water.
water fox. It's a colloquial term.
I've heard of swamp foxes, but not water fox. Well, I tell you what, you come tomorrow and I will have the package that you are to deliver. And I'll get you some details on the location you need to infiltrate.
I will be here. First light.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm very glad to have this coin. Thank you. Shush. I will see you tomorrow.
Of course, and I hope you have a truly blessed day.
You haven't left anything out from your story, have you?
Oh, no, of course not. I'm a truth teller. I always tell the truth and the whole truth, the complete truth.
Good, good. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page.
What I just curiously are there things going on in that maybe I should be on the lookout for that might have been relevant? Is there something that are looking for? Um, Strange technology maybe tied to the cultist raids, maybe the thrall raids.
We are curious about that, why all this has happened so suddenly. But you don't need to worry about that. You've already got a job.
Of course, yes. If I saw anything strange, like, machines that look like people, you would be the first person that I would tell.
Well, that's oddly specific, but yes. All right. I will see you tomorrow.
These are strange times, and then we'll go ahead and leave.
Jahal, you said you wanted to talk to DeVoe?
Yeah, so I'll start. I think we cut to a close-up of Jahal putting a candy in his mouth. He still had some in his pockets, even when he jumped off the ship. And he's watching Sequent, who is kind of every once in a while they kind of stop moving if no one talks to them and just like stare off into space. And Jahal's watching them and then looks over at DeVoe. And I think that DeVoe, you can help me out, but I'm thinking that we're like in wherever our lodgings are. And Corwin and Jet are away still. And I think Jahal sees something.
If we haven't sold off all of the tablets, if we still have one of the working ones, I might just be reading through Lord of the Rings trying to figure out like when does it get good.
You're constantly hitting the "what does this word mean" button on it.
Not Lord of the Rings. It's King of the Bracelets.
Yes.
The bracelets. And then Jahal says to Devo, when he looks up from the tablet, he says, "Are you still thinking about the thrall in the water?"
It's hard to move past that. But I'm trying to. But
I saw someone die once, die violently. I didn't know him well, but I knew him. He went scavenging out with my brother and me from time to time. And one day we were on the outskirts of a ruin and he came too close to this half-buried security drone. It just got off one pulse laser, but it was enough to cut right through him. It happened so quickly, but right in front of me. I had nightmares for months. And I don't know. That's why I wonder if it's still with you.
What do you think they wanted from us? I mean, it seemed like they just wanted to destroy the ship.
I think we were in the wrong place at the wrong time. That happens a lot. I try to stay out of those situations, but sometimes they just fall upon us. Sometimes we just do what we need to survive, right?
Yeah. I don't know what would have happened if we hadn't fought back. I mean, the captain, the rest of the crew, I don't
They
think
didn't
we're
do
ever gonna
so
see
well.
them again.
And
Yeah.
and then Jahal looks over at Sequent and says, "Do you think it's safe?"
I don't know. And I don't think that it's safe from most of the people that we're likely to come across. I don't know if it's safe to us, though. I don't know if they're safe to us.
Yeah. There's something about looking at them, just, I don't know, I just feel this wanting to take care of them. Could that be like programmed into them somehow? Something that they're doing that makes people want to take care of them? Is it like a trick, like a glyph? Only it works on us?
I mean, I feel like that could be reading too much into it. I mean,
Well, do you feel that
it's
way, Thor?
design, presumably.
Doesn't work on Jet
They
though. So maybe
they
it's
they
just
look
us.
like someone that needs help.
It does.
I mean, I think not to understate it, but like you see a kitten and you don't want harm to come to that.
I've
But
seen pictures.
I feel like we've never seen anything or anyone like Sequent, and I think that's important. I mean, I imagine it must be coincidence that we were the ones that came across them after however long they'd been down there, hundreds of years. But I think that even if it is coincidence, we have to recognize significance in it happening, and whatever that might call us to, if that makes any sense. Yeah, we're all out here for a purpose, and this might be redefining that a bit.
And then Jahal looks back over towards Sequent, who's still staring off into space. But then you see like a little glint in their eye, like a little light in their eye, as if they're listening or paying attention to what we're saying, even though they're on the far side of the room. And Jahal gets a worried look on his face.
I
Cut there.
I think that's a good place for us to cut. I think that's a good place for us to stop with some things hanging over us for next time. DeVoe will assume that you are consulting with the archivists next time. So we'll get that sort of love lettered off. Let's give everybody 3 growth. Again, I went through and added a little space if you want to record that. I'll also add to another tab that has the breakdown of how you spend and gets that on there so everybody can follow that, and how you calculate stuff. That should be in the keeper. And I made it so that it's my fault that it is not there. But yeah, I think three points. And if anyone is not at their max spirit, you should go ahead and take yourself back up to your max spirit because you've had a time to do a full bed rest and everything. And then I would like to, if you all are okay with it, do a quick stars and wishes to wrap things up. Let's go in order that we did our scenes. DeVoe, are you okay starting this off with this?
Sure thing. I think like stars in particular to Kevin as Jet. I think there's like a temptation when an NPC of that kind gets introduced for like every player to just be like, oh, and this is the NPC that we're supposed to protect because that's what's been put here in front of us. And I think you just took the simple step of like recognizing that that's the trope and that the story's only really interesting if not everybody is immediately in line with it. So I really appreciated that as a character moment to create some tension in a scene that like it wasn't devoid of it, but needed like some extra layers. So I really liked that.
Agreed.
Yeah. For wishes, like I really like tropey sci-fi stuff. So like this is playing into any number of AI plot lines going back however far. I'd say like the creator is probably the most recent one, which is not that great a film, but yeah, I don't have like any explicit wish because I just kind of trust that whatever direction this goes in is going to be a fun one for it to go in.
Okay. I like that. Corwin.
It stars to Jose and Vince for that last scene there, which I thought was really interesting and showed us more about these characters and kind of their interiority and how they're reacting to the situation. I thought that was really cool. And I think in terms of wishes, I don't have anything specific either. But I am looking forward to some of these situations kind of coming to a head and the characters being forced to make some tough decisions as we go forward.
Okay. Anything specifically you'd like to see that you have Corwin have an opportunity to do X, Y, or Z?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would. I mean, I'd like to see him have the opportunity to make a snap decision that is potentially going to turn out badly for him.
Okay. I love it. Jet.
Yeah, my big star was a line from Devo saying there's a danger in bringing technology we don't fully understand into our community when that's literally what we just did. Was just really funny to me. And yeah, I like how the NPCs are kind of shaping up. It's so easy to lean on Star Wars, but New Mossgrove just has this very sort of like Moss Eisley kind of trader hub city feel to it that I really enjoy. While also having this like really cool factional conflict. My wish, the easy one is of course wanting to learn more about sequence, because this is a world I Kevin the player know nothing about. So we're all kind of it's a fun mystery to sort of explore. And I've already done like the things Jet's good at. So I've done the techie things, I've done the smarty looky atty things and the technobabble, which is really fun. But I guess an interesting wish might be to say that it would be interesting for Jet to find himself in a situation where he's pressured even harder than he just was to betray the group and give Sequent over, give up the game. He was very coy about it here. It wasn't very high stakes. But that situation might be more interesting, or maybe not even Jet, maybe somebody else as well. But more stuff, building on that sort of, I think we set up some seeds for that. Yeah.
I like that. All right. And Jahal.
Yeah, let's see. Stars to Corwin. I really like the naivete of not really getting that Sequent is an android from 200 years ago and still working with that. I think that's adds something to the character for me and fleshes out something important. Jet, I loved kind of your yes man treatment of the Jabba character, your debtor. I thought that was great, saying whatever, yes, sir, I can do that, I can do that, I can do that. That really kind of fleshed something out for me as well. And Devo, thanks for doing that last scene with me. That was fun. I have a wish for more PC scenes because I'm really trying to understand who the hell we are together and what our relationships are. I sometimes, I'm leaning more into the expressive kind of relational aspects of what we're doing, in addition to the more instrumental kinds of things and plot-driven things. So yeah, people are willing to do PC scenes, that would be fun. So yep. Thanks.
Absolutely. I'll make a note of that. We'll see if we can definitely arrange that, put some questions and stakes on the table for those interactions. Thank you very much, everybody. I like getting into a situation we have. It is a sci-fi cliche, but it's a worthwhile sci-fi cliche here. And then I like having a cast of NPCs. They are all out there for you to mess around with. I have a blank cipher NPC, so if anybody wants to establish an NPC, I've got some faces down at the bottom too there. I am going to do a thing that seems odd here, but I'm going to do this. So you see me briefly screen sharing. So if anyone is watching this, they can see our character pictures there. And stop the share. I do that because if you do that when you're recording on Zoom, when you upload to YouTube, it will be recorded in HD rather than standard definition. You just have to screen share once. It's a very weird thing. So that is a lesson that I learned. I really enjoyed that. I like everybody's characters. I'm very excited to see where the interactions go. And we'll see everybody next time. And we'll do 3 growth and we'll check in on character development. I'll get that chart in the Keeper. So I'm going to stop the recording.